faithfully delivering value and exploring great books from around the world. Hi, this is Sally, here to talk about books. Today, I'm introducing a book called When Parents Grow Old and Are Hard to Get Along With. Many people have mixed feelings about their parents. Living far away, we always want to visit home more, but once back, it's tough to connect. From small things like when to wake up or eat, to big life choices like marriage, kids, and values, we and our parents just can't seem to understand each other. As parents age, they might change, feeling lost, silent, overly sensitive, or nitpicky, leaving us exhausted and unsure how to cope. If we try to reason with them, it could backfire, stirring up more emotions and pushback. So, why do parents become hard to deal with as they get older? And how do we handle these generational clashes?
That authors, Grace Lebo and Barbara Kane, are clinical social workers with over 30 years of experience. They co-founded a caregiving site in the US to help kids care for aging parents.
Through this, they faced many issues. Their deep clinical and caregiving experience let them see patterns in parent adult child relationships and offer practical, tailored advice. The book has 9 chapters that break down 6 types of difficult parents and ways to interact with them. These types include controlling parents, dependent parents, and discouraging parents, narcissistic parents, fearful parents, and self-destructive parents. Most try to control their kids, but the reasons behind it vary. Now let's go through each type and how to respond. First up, controlling parents. They're experts at manipulation in many ways. Some are forceful and proactive, demanding kids live by their rules, from big values to daily routines, no questions asked. For example, Susan's mom insisted he call home every morning at 9 sharp. When Susan wanted to cut back to 3 calls a week, she cut him off completely.
Others are more subtle and passive. They might play the victim, constantly doing things for their kids and being nice to demand payback.
Controlling type. When parents argue, they're especially skilled at giving the cold shoulder, using silence to provoke the other and force compromise. So, why do parents always want to control their kids? The authors believe the underlying psychological drive is fear. They're afraid of being forgotten and left helpless by their children. This fear could stem from early life experiences or might only show up later in life. If someone felt abandoned early on, it can lead to a controlling mindset. For example, being abandoned by parents as a child or lacking maternal care and companionship makes kids cling desperately to others to avoid being abandoned again. Of course, not all problems are linked to early experiences, and not every childhood trauma leaves a lasting shadow. Parents' controlling tendencies might also emerge in old age as they get older. And then we should consider both physical and psychological reasons, prioritizing physical ones, like when was their last checkup or if they're feeling unwell. Some age-related illnesses, like Alzheimer's disease, can cause personality changes. Rule out physical causes first, then look for psychological ones. Growing older means facing many changes, and change brings stress. For instance, if seniors have to move far from their kids due to health issues, they not only deal with the hassles of aging, but also lose friends, social circles, and familiar lifestyles. If other changes happen then, like a spouse's death, a pet's passing, or even moving or retiring, their loneliness and sense of loss intensify. These events might seem minor, but for parents, they can be the last straw. So, how should we handle controlling parents? And the authors suggest that if parents can still self-reflect and realize they might have issues but don't know why, try reasoning with them, especially for late onset control. It might help. The book gives an example. A federal judge in his 70s had to retire to care for his wife with severe dementia.
But the judge gradually lost patience and became full of controlling tendencies.
He always demanded his wife listen to him and kept reasoning with his partner nonstop. Huh. He hoped she'd change, but she just couldn't get it and couldn't follow through. This made the judge so mad he'd yell a lot. His son got worried and reached out to the author's counseling team, and the counselor figured out that the life situation caused the judge's personality change. And um, this judge had a great life and career, but now he can't even take care of his sick wife properly. He couldn't handle the frustration and helplessness, so he got all controlling. And the counselor thought putting the wife in rehab was a good idea, but they didn't come right out and say it'd lighten his load, because that just make him feel guiltier about not taking good care of her. Well, the counselor told the judge that rehab could help his wife get better and give him a boost. There are support groups too. Why not give him a try? Hearing that, the judge lightened up a lot and became more open to suggestions. If logic doesn't fly, the authors have these 2 tricks up their sleeve. First off, respond earnestly but with finesse. When dealing with super controlling parents, blowing up or giving in just hands them the reins. A smart move is to answer seriously but lightly, using humor or banter to ease the tension. Say, Alice's mom's always telling her how to do stuff, like saying, her fries don't go with the fancy dishes. Alice didn't fight back. She just said, oh yeah? Well, should I jazz up the fries or grab some ugly plates? Watch out when cracking jokes. Don't backfire. Make sure they don't think it's too serious for fun or that you're making fun of them. The second trick is to agree on a code word with your parents to signal things are heating up. Like, how about we switch subjects? Or different strokes, we're all unique, stuff like that. These cues help everyone stop before things go south, avoiding hurt feelings. Sure, some parents can't handle it because they think their kids aren't with them. Then, as their kid, just roll with it and don't turn into a control nut. Finished talking about controlling parents, now let's cover 3 types that are closely related: dependent, discouraging, and narcissistic. First up, dependency. These parents are super dependent on their kids. Every little thing in life needs their child's help, and they seem unable to be alone. Being apart makes them unhappy. For example, some moms insist their kids call them every night. Spend weekends together, 'cause besides you, mom's got no friends, and you gotta handle all her chores, one by one. If you want to ditch mom and hang out with friends for a meal or shopping, you'll hear her nag for days. Like controlling parents, dependent parents also act out of fear, leading to over-reliance.
Yeah.
They're scared of being abandoned. Often they've been dependent since young, and as they age, their need for others grows, while people to lean on get fewer. So kids become the go-to. For handling dependent parents, the book mainly suggests 2 methods. The first is to understand parents and change how you respond. This approach works for all types of parents, too. Parents might seem troublesome, but the root of their behavior is often deep pain and fear inside. You can dig into your parents' upbringing to find where that behavior comes from. For instance, chat with older relatives or friends about their childhood stories, checking if any early experiences might have had a negative impact. Using this insight, we can train ourselves to empathize with parents, then change how we interact with them. Many folks' first reaction to difficult parents is to blow up, but getting mad doesn't help solve anything. And getting angry and arguing fiercely only deepens the rift. Don't teach them how to act or force changes. Say, Jack's mom just moved to a new place, feels out of sorts, and won't go out to socialize with neighbors or friends. Because she's convinced only Jack can ease her anxiety. So what Jack should do is encourage and support, letting mom know he gets her loneliness and how tough it is to adjust to the new home and surroundings. That way, she might slowly warm up to blending into a new, social circle. You can also help parents find fulfilling roles, since what they truly need is attention, understanding, and recognition. Like if they're retired with nothing to do, help them discover hobbies or find volunteer work in the community to achieve greater social value. This way, they'll gain more social support and rely less on their children. The second approach for dependent parents is setting boundaries with their demands to create breathing room for yourself. But when communicating with parents, first determine your reasonable limits. After expressing understanding, clearly state what you can and can't do. Then stick to this principle. Say your parents constantly pressure you to visit when you feel it's unnecessary. Decide on a frequency. What frequency works for you? Once a week or every other week? At first, parents might be unhappy, but you must hold firm. If you've agreed to visit Sundays, but they call earlier demanding you come, tell them, I'll be there Sunday. That's our agreed family time. When complaints start, change subjects or say, see you Sunday, then politely hang up. Or give them a notebook to track your visit schedule. Beyond maintaining boundaries with parents, also prioritize your own physical and mental health. If you often snap at parents or feel hopeless about life, it signals excessive stress. Dedicate time to find relief methods, like taking regular vacations. Try whatever effectively reduces your stress. The third type of difficult parent is the discouraging kind. These parents are overly critical of their kids, constantly dissatisfied, complaining, and expecting them to yield. They view people in extremes. Perfect today, terrible tomorrow. One slight disappointment makes the child completely bad. For example, in a family with multiple children, after the daughter marries far away, the son cares for parents year-round, yet they tell everyone the daughter's unreliable and only the son's filial. But later, when the son had to move farther away due to work, he instantly became an ungrateful villain in his parents' eyes. The son suggested his parents move with him or offered to hire a caregiver, but they refused both. They didn't want to move and thought caregivers wouldn't take good care of them. But basically, none of the son's options worked. Everything he did was wrong. This black and white worldview is called splitting in psychology. Like controlling and dependency, its root is fear of abandonment. Psychological research shows every child develops ambivalent feelings toward mom while separating, wanting independence yet relying on her. Like a toddler learning to walk, wants freedom, but keeps checking mom's still there. During separation, mom's image splits into two, the bad mom restricting freedom and the good mom showing love. As kids grow, these images merge. They accept mom as a whole person with strengths and flaws. This is a normal separation process, but some kids can't separate properly, leading to abandonment fears. For example, if young Mary was constantly criticized by mom, she'd think, if I'm not perfect, mom will leave, planting deep fear. Mary wouldn't become independent like others or understand mom's complexity. She'd keep seeking comfort from the good mom to heal the bad mom's abandonment. Like, how about we switch subjects? Or different strokes, we're all unique, stuff like that. These cues help everyone stop before things go south, avoiding hurt feelings. Sure, some parents can't handle it because they think their kids aren't with them. Then, as their kid, just roll with it and don't turn into a control nut. Finished talking about controlling parents, now let's cover three related types: dependent, discouraging, and narcissistic. First up, dependency. These parents are super dependent on their kids. Every little thing in life needs their child's help, and they seem unable to be alone. Being apart makes them unhappy. And, for example, some moms demand daily calls and weekend visits, saying, "You're my only friend," and expect you to handle every chore for them. If you ditch mom to hang with friends, brace for days of nagging. Like controlling parents, dependents cling out of fear. They fear abandonment, often dependent since youth. Aging intensifies this need while shrinking their support network, making kids prime targets. For handling dependent parents, the book offers two keys. First, understand them and shift your response. This tactic works for all difficult parent types. Troublesome behaviors usually root in deep pain or fear. Dig into your parents' upbringing to find the source. Talk to older relatives about their childhood. See if early experiences caused lasting harm. Use this insight to build empathy and transform your interactions. Many snap at difficult parents first, but anger solves nothing. Fierce arguments deepen rifts. Don't lecture parents or force change. Take Jack's mom. After moving, she refused to socialize, feeling out of place. She believed only Jack could soothe her anxiety, so Jack encouraged her, showing he understood her loneliness and how tough adapting was, making her more open to adjusting. Help parents find fulfilling roles. They crave attention and validation. Retired? Assist with hobbies or community volunteering to rebuild purpose. This way, they'll find more social support and depend less on their children. The second approach for dependent parents is setting boundaries with their demands to create breathing room. When communicating with parents, first decide your reasonable limits. After showing understanding, clearly state what you can and can't do. Then stick to this. If parents constantly pressure visits when you think it's unnecessary, set your frequency. What works for you, weekly or bi-weekly visits?
Parents might be unhappy initially, but you must hold firm.
If you've agreed on Sunday visits but they call earlier, demanding you come, tell them, I'll be there Sunday, that's our set family time. When complaints start, change subjects or say, see you Sunday, then politely end the call, or give them a notebook to log visit schedules. Beyond boundaries with parents, also prioritize your own well-being. If you often snap at parents or feel hopeless, it signals excessive stress. Dedicate time to find relief. Like taking regular vacations, try whatever effectively reduces stress. The third difficult parent type is the discouraging kind. These parents are hypercritical, always dissatisfied, complaining, and expecting kids to yield. They view people in extremes: perfect today, terrible tomorrow. One slight disappointment turns the child completely bad. For example, in a multi-child family, after the daughter married far away, the son cared for parents year-round. Yet they told everyone the daughter was unreliable and only the son was filial. But when the son moved farther for work, he instantly became ungrateful in their eyes. He suggested they move with him or offered a caregiver, but they refused both. They didn't want to move and felt caregivers couldn't care for them properly. In short, none of his solutions worked. Everything he did was wrong. This black and white view of the world is called splitting in psychology. Like controlling and dependency, its root is a fear of abandonment. Psychological research shows that every child has ambivalent feelings toward their mom during separation, craving independence, yet relying on her. Like a toddler learning to walk, who wants freedom, but keeps looking back to make sure mom's still there. During this separation, the child splits mom's image into two: the bad mom, who restricts freedom, and the good mom, who provides love. As the child grows, these images gradually merge. The child begins to accept mom as a whole person with strengths and flaws, a normal separation process. But some kids fail to separate properly, leading to abandonment feelings. For example, if young Mary was constantly criticized by her mom, she'd think, if I'm not perfect, mom will leave, planting deep fear in her heart. Mary wouldn't become independent like other kids, or understand mom's complexity. She'd keep seeking comfort from the good mom to heal the pain of the bad mom's abandonment. As an adult, she transfers this love-hate dynamic to her spouse and kids, making demands to prevent abandonment. If her kids don't comply, her childhood abandonment pain resurfaces, causing constant complaints and grumbling. Once discouraging parents enter this black and white splitting mode, no matter what you say or do, they'll see disobedience as bad. So don't argue facts or reason with them. So what should we do? The book gives an example. A narcissistic mom who ruins family gatherings by interrupting or sulking in a corner to seek attention. Her daughter found a solution, creating a life storybook for mom, showcasing family history through her life stages. Next gathering, find a good moment for mom to share this storybook with the family. This way, the whole family gets to reminisce about precious shared memories. Mom finds fulfillment without spoiling the gathering's mood. Creating this storybook also strengthened the mother-daughter bond. The four parent types we discussed all harbor deep fears that manifest as controlling, narcissistic, or discouraging behaviors. Now, the fifth difficult parent type displays fear in their daily lives. Fearful parents constantly imagine disasters with all sorts of baseless worries about the future. They often have sleep issues, refuse reality, and hold unrealistic expectations, like hopping between doctors after illness, hoping for a miracle cure. Fears vary. Cows, germs, illnesses, anything can terrify them. Fear is natural, but some suffer chronically, even tormenting loved ones. Take Marianne's mom, constantly self-diagnosing imaginary illnesses and rushing to hospitals. Once, with stomach issues, doctors diagnosed lactose intolerance and prescribed meds, but she refused, demanded a colonoscopy, fearing cancer, and even thought uneven eyebrows meant a stroke. Ooh. Fearful parents' traits often stem from childhood, lingering effects of past events, like one mom perpetually anxious, terrified of water, and death-averse for years. She skipped her husband's funeral, scared to be home alone, obsessing over germs.
Even her son eating at friends' houses made her fear illness.
Her son later learned she nearly drowned as a child and witnessed her grandma's sudden death. These experiences left deep psychological scars. Similar situations trigger relived pain and terror. Psychology calls this post-traumatic stress disorder, mental trauma after life-threatening events. Events like war, crime, disasters, or physical harm, reactions may surface years later, time doesn't always heal, and anxiety worsens with age. So what should we do? The author offers two suggestions. First, accept your parents' discomfort. Like Judy's mom often had back pain from fear. If Judy dismissed it as fake or no big deal, the pain worsened. But if Judy said, "I don't know how you bear it, that must be awful," Mom felt understood and supported, reducing her need to complain. Second, seek professional help. Kids often can't tell what's real versus imagined with suspicious parents. So don't play doctor, start with comprehensive medical checkups. If all's clear, seek psychiatric help, especially crucial for PTSD parents. Sometimes medication combined with therapy works best. Kids should track symptoms daily to help doctors understand the context. The sixth difficult type is self-destructive parents, more challenging than previous types. They may struggle with alcohol or drug addiction, eating disorders, or suicidal tendencies. Many self-destructive parents the authors met showed depressive traits. They mask depression with self-harm. The root may be long-term suffering, like a single mom who remarried twice but repeatedly faced domestic violence. After divorce, she raised kids alone under financial stress, with unresolved anxiety. This led to alcoholism and depression. Trauma might also stem from accidents, like childhood abuse or losing a partner in old age. They might start smoking or drinking to cope, then consider ending their lives. How to respond? For self-destructive parents, seeking psychiatric help is paramount. As mentioned, many suffer severe depression, plunged into despair, losing judgment and clear thought, forgetful, with disrupted eating or sleeping patterns. Diagnosing depression is complex. It could stem from illness, medication, or alcohol. Moreover, depression can resemble some age-related illnesses, like Alzheimer's, so professional diagnosis is needed to find the real cause. If you notice your parents stuck in a low mood for a while, you should be on alert. Take action and bring them to a doctor. Parents might resist, so try telling them it's just to get some meds to help them sleep better, or bring someone they trust to persuade them. Besides that, you can write them a letter to help lift their spirits. Because face-to-face talks can easily lead to arguments, but a letter lets your points sink in slowly. The book gives an example. Anna wrote a letter to her mom with severe alcoholism, first playing the emotional card by recalling all Mom had done for her and expressing gratitude. Then Anna mentioned how Mom's current state worries her. She told her mom that every time she sees her drink, it breaks her heart. At the letter's end, Anna hoped her mom could bounce back and go out more to gatherings. She also wished her mom would seek professional help and mentioned she'd found a great doctor for her. In the end, touched by the letter, her mom seriously started alcohol treatment. All right, that's about it for when parents grow old and are hard to get along with. Accompanying parents as they age isn't easy. Maybe you can't fully change them, but at least you can break free from the vicious cycle of anger, regret, guilt, and self blame, learning to see them anew and care for their later years as best as possible. Oh, in this process, we're not just helping parents face aging, we're learning to care for our future selves too. As the famous psychologist Erickson said, the greatest task in old age is to reflect on life, gently accept oneself, and learn to mourn all losses and tragedies. Okay, that's our take on when parents grow old and are hard to get along with. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.